Hello twin flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome to my channel. If you're new or you're coming back, I'm slowly getting back to everything at my home myself. It's almost a week since I moved back, so I'm slowly finding all of my belongings. I am back to my favorite lighting. I'm taking out my crystals. I'll probably get something out here too, but I'm just slowly getting back into my own. Today I want to do, it's gonna be a classic read overall, but the questions will be slightly different. Well, first of all, I'm gonna start with the message from Ascended Masters for each of the twins. We're gonna end with messages between them. But the tarot questions will be how the twins feeling for each other right now, and the second one is going to be what action should be taken to bring the union closer by each twin. Okay, here we go. So let's see what we have for Divine Feminine first of all. Oh, and I'm spotting my Ukrainian t-shirt. As many of you have heard, I'm sure there was a big disaster at a hydroelectric power plant in Ukraine. It got blown up by the Russians. So there's a lot happening right now in Ukraine in general, and in that area specifically. It's still a developing story right now because it's such a huge body of water. In total, it'll take something like 10 days for it to all to go into the Black Sea, for the water that got released with the explosion at the dam at the power plant. But yeah, there is a catastrophe, a disaster on so many levels right now that people are dealing with. And this was basically an encouragement for myself. A little bit of that brave but also kind and a little bit quirky spirit that we have as Ukrainians. It is in Ukrainian, so very few people understand what it means, but I do, and it warms my heart, which I really needed. Okay, feminines. I have Mercury, open communication. I love that. Get a weight off your chest. Speak up with love and be heard. Yeah, so if you feel like there is an uncomfortable topic, or that you've been trying to get your message across but you failed, approach it with love. Maybe do an extra meditation, or turn up more empathy and see the situation from the position of your interlocutor, of that person that you are trying to talk to, and you'll find a new way to communicate. You'll find the right words, the right way. What do we have for the feminine? For the masculine, sorry. Ooh, 2 cards. Native American spirit, white eagle, ancestor spirit. This is so beautiful. Actually, when I was visiting Grand Canyon, I was talking to some women from a local reservation where that part of the Grand Canyon is located. And it was such a profound meeting and experience out there in general. I bought myself a postcard with like this arms, like Native American arms of an older person, to symbolize the ancestor spirit. And I just felt guided to do some ancestor work this month after that visit. So I'm really pleased that this card with the Native American on, it's actually called the ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound, a pattern can be healed now. Yes, so even if you're the feminine watching, this is the message for the masculine, but if you feel guided, if this just kind of clicked for you, please go ahead and do that. And I actually, I was spending quality time with a fellow Divine Feminine on my crystal deck. We actually spoke about these things. And I know what kind of wound they're talking about here right now. In a nutshell. And it's interesting that there was a connection between my wounding, in this case it was a specific physical trauma, and the masculine traumatic event, like in their space, in their reality, right? And that was interconnected. It happened simultaneously, basically. Like it ignited like in both of us at the same time. So do not dismiss those messages or those hints. And there's a good chance that there is some sort of wounding that needs to be worked by both of you. And you will be encouraging and supporting each other in that healing work. The second one is Joanne of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. Notice it's also about communication. So again, we're seeing synchronicities. The only thing is Mercury was about open communication, so it's more of like internal struggle or conflict or block. This is more of an external struggle or block, right? Like, what will people think? Am I gonna be judged? Am I gonna be an outcast, or etc., etc., right? So with that regard, it's a little different, but both about healthy communication, speaking your truth. It's very important to speak your truth at this time. All right, how are the twins feeling towards each other at this time? Let's start with feminines. How are they feeling towards masculines and the connection? At this time, we have Knight of Cups. There's the feminine on it. Anything else? Can you please clarify? The Knight of Cups. Thank you. Wow, 4 Wands and 6 of Cups. This is like the ultimate union. I almost feel like this is the prerequisite to the question number 2. But anyway, so divine feminines are actually getting messages. Like knights are really the messengers, but I'm honestly getting the point that download that in this case divine feminines are receiving the message of love and what love is about and how love is reflected in the union, right? In terms of the soul connection, because it's so much deeper than a traditional relationship. It's why we don't really call it that way. And secondly, the union in terms of mutual commitment and building the life together. It can be marriage specifically. For others, it doesn't have to be per se, right? But it's still like, how do we build from here? I mean, connection of souls is one thing. It's all wonderful, lovey-dovey energy, that floating in that cloud of love. It's wonderful. But life happens and we are supposed to deal with earthly matters, 3D thickness in a variety of different questions day in, day out, right? And it requires our loving approach too. So, you know, how do you reconcile that otherworldly feeling and energy and inspiration with very much 3D space where you're building your life, and you're supposed to be building it within like the community, the collective, right? That's the point. Do not be somewhere like alone, just by yourselves, just kind of like as how do you say it? Well, anyway, not to be just excluding yourself from community and enjoying each other's company and life. No. As twins, we have a huge mission towards the collective, towards our local communities, towards a global community, whether it's physically meeting with people or virtually. You know, you can't avoid that. That will be out of alignment, right? And that's the important part, that committing to your person and having that space for yourselves, for each other, right? Like for the two of you, and treating it as holy, as special, as divine, but also dealing with all the storms of the world. Wow. So divine feminine is really finding these specifics, these recipes for success, this acknowledgement of how love gets manifested in those experiences. 5D versus 3D. And what I'm also getting, since this is how the feminines are feeling towards the masculine, the connection, they see it in this connection on both levels. Even though it may not be something they've experienced before, in other relationships, or not something that they've seen in movies or read in books, dreamt about, right? Like this is different, but they can clearly see, distinctively see those expressions of love, that confirmation on all of those levels. What do we have for the masculines? How the masculines feeling right now? Oh, we have Two of Cups in reverse and King of Cups. Yeah, so guess what? The masculine actually is feeling, this is the Kundalini energy here in this particular deck, right? They're feeling it strongly, but they are putting that aside. It's a very strong sexual energy. And right now, it's not the key theme, and it's not something that is of immediate priority, right? So the masculines are saying, I see this, I honor it, I acknowledge it, I look forward to having this quality time with you to explore all these different interesting energies. But right now I'm focused on, and look at that, we had Knight of Cups there, but it was a feminine figure. We have King of Cups here. So it's not exactly a couple, but kind of, right? Kind of. Masculines are focusing on getting themselves to a place where they feel they could be a loving and emotionally available partner. We actually saw that similar message a couple of days ago, right? So this is continuing the topic that they're seeing that, you know, they've been burnt, they've been tainted, they've, you know, had their heart broken, and that caused them to be more skeptical and cynical and closed off than they have the capacity to be, more closed off rather than loving and nurturing and giving as they have the capacity to be. So they are embracing that role, and the inspiration is this connection actually, right? But they know it's a lot more than sexual pull, sexual drive, although that is super strong and they're feeling it, right? But they're setting it aside, like putting it on hold for now, and working on, if you wish, even their social skills of how to express themselves, what they like to say, to show in terms of their love, and how much they care for this connection, for their feminine. Okay, I'll use the After Tarot deck to get us answers to the question, what is the action? What is the advice, right? The suggested action to bring the union closer. Let's start with Divine Feminines. What is the action at this point? Ooh, that was, wow. Oof, Ace of Wands. I think we saw it in the last reading, didn't we? We have Page of Pentacles and Seven of Swords. So, okay, a couple of things. First of all, do not think that other people's kindness or your own kindness is a trick, is not real, is weakness, right? It's not true. And actually, the more you're able to give and receive that kindness with authenticity, the more insightful and psychic you will be yourself. Like, there is a very strong connection between those qualities, between exercising it in your daily life, right? It also, we see the pentacles here, it also draws abundance towards you when you are showing this kindness in this particular card, right? They're giving, this person is giving their pentacle to another one, to, like, I don't know, it's a gnome, I guess, creature, dwarf, somebody who needs it, right? So it's that kind, and the page doesn't have much himself, right? That's the whole premise of Page of Pentacles. They don't really have much, right? Maybe that pentacle is the only thing they have to go by, and they're giving it away to the dwarf because they understand that they need it much more than they do right now. So if you see somebody being that generous with you, do not treat it as a trick, as a scam, or as, you know, people having agendas. Take it in, be grateful, be able to receive it, and also be ready to show that kindness to other people. The other part is, in this case, I'm getting involving nature in your inspiration and your guidance. And maybe if you're looking at inspiration in something very 3D, it may not feel like being in nature is a big source of creativity or answers. But you'll be surprised how much stronger the voice of your higher self or your guides will be there, right? How many signs you'll be able to spot, right? This is like this emergence into nature, especially as we're getting into the summertime in the northern hemisphere, at least. We want to be more outside anyway, right? This is a bit more of like consciously being outside, right? Noticing what's happening around you. What do we have for the masculines at this time? What's the suggested action to bring the union closer? Woo! Okay. Okay. So the first couple of cards is Nine of Pentacles in reverse and Queen of Pentacles. Oh, it's very interesting because it's basically the same energy. This is the court card. This is the minor arcana. But notice this. This is the wife card, really. So divine masculines are asked to see their feminine and themselves, this connection as this one team, right, that's building their life together. Spoke about it a little bit earlier, right? But this is like, don't just see this as, you know, conquering the heart of a damsel, of a princess or whatever, right? Like, don't think about just that part of like hunting or conquering or getting to a point of success. A lot of masculines are wired that way, and that's what keeps them exciting. But this is showing that the most exciting part is actually going to come afterwards, right? So start manifesting, start dreaming, start envisioning how that dream life is going to be for you. Get ready. And I'm also getting that for a lot of you, it's going to involve, like, it's going to come quicker than you think. And you will feel overwhelmed with the amount of decisions and changes in your life that you'll be making. So it's better to start seeing it and thinking it through in advance. The other pair of cards is Queen of Wands and Two of Swords. Yeah, so if you're, again, this is the feminine image and the embodiment of like the witchcraft, the psychic gifts, right? Your feminine is different, and maybe it bothered you before, maybe it's still bothering you, or you feel like it will be bothering people around you, divine masculines. And you have that dilemma of like how you want to play it. Is it gonna work out? Like all that overthinking. Actually, in this Two of Swords, because it's after tarot, you can see that the swords are actually like the battle is with somebody else. And that's what it's supposed to show you, this whole message, that those doubts, insecurities, those battles, that uneasiness is somebody else's business. Whoever that person would be that will have a problem with the way your feminine is, it's their problem, right? Don't make it yours. Don't overthink this. First of all, things will be unfolding naturally. And when you're both ready for union, it's not going to be a problem anymore. Secondly, definitely some people like having their own struggle with acceptance of others, with maybe extending their own consciousness and boundaries of consciousness, right? It's their chance to expand. Or if they're still gonna be left with that petty and childish energy, maybe that's gonna be a sign that those people are not your people. You know, as simple as that. Sometimes those are hard choices when we leave people behind because they aren't on the same page with us anymore. And I don't just mean agree in everything, but also like not even seeing what this is all about, right? Like sometimes you feel like you're talking to a wall and they just don't get it. They're sitting with their own thought and their own focus, they fixate on it, and they aren't open-minded and they don't understand what you're talking about, right? So if that's the case, this is a very strong signal that it's time to move on. Okay, last but not least, what would the twins like to tell each other? We'll start with masculines to feminines. What is the message? We had communication today, so let's see what the twins are communicating. Love is the answer, maybe, and I want you to choose. The masculine's pretty much is saying, I want you to choose what the loving action will be. Look at that, love me, on the bottom of the deck, right? What you feel the loving gesture would be, what would be a loving choice in your opinion. I want you to tell me, to show me, right? If it doesn't mean that divine masculines want the feminines to do all the work. It's like, again, when we speak about communication, there could be language barriers, right? And this is because this is such a strong bond, and to a certain extent, it feels like your twin or your divine counterpart is so different, either from you or from people you've been with, that you aren't really sure what will be a sign, in this case, a sign of loving, like what would be a loving gesture, right? What would be the right next step to show that love so it's not off-putting but actually feels right, right? So the masculines are waiting for the feminines to give them a sign or to take that action, actually. Interesting. What about, that's too many cards, feminines, what would they like to tell masculines? One wand. Yeah, we saw that. Happiness is my priority. And your family won't like me. Yeah, we saw this energy with the masculines, right? This is like a... this is a response from divine feminines. It's like, I don't think your people around you will like me either, but... Oh, sorry, that's actually exactly what was in there, right? We just spoke about masculines overthinking the fact that somebody in their surrounding might not accept divine feminine or her lifestyle or what she's doing with her mission and things like that. And this is like the opposite, well, the confirmation basically, that the feminine understanding very clearly that this will be a very different vibe for at least some of the people in masculine's life, right? But they say happiness is still my priority. If I understand that certain activity, a certain lifestyle is something that makes me happy, that gets me into my groove, into my vibe, into my inspiration energy, and I can make a difference in the world, I can help people, and I can be happy myself, I'm gonna go for it. I'm sorry, but that's key, that's the priority. Happiness is my priority. Okay, I hope this has been good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I will be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye, everyone.